key engine of growth for the gig economy, driving tremendous innovation, driving tremendous opportunity for a new generation of workers, a new generation of entrepreneurs, a new generation of millennials. And with that comes both opportunities and challenges. So we'll talk a little bit about these opportunities and challenges as we go through today in terms of the discussion. Now, I wanted to share with you three significant themes, three growth factors for the gig economy. And let's just talk about these in a little bit more detail. The transformation of businesses, the rise of millennials, and technological enablement. And each of these have been catalysts to drive and shape the gig economy and the freelancer community. One of the things that's really critical to highlight here is the importance of digital freelancer platforms. Their growth in terms of popularity across Southeast Asia, and these platforms are the source at which many freelancers are turning to. They're turning to these platforms as a way to identify new opportunities for work, new assignments, and then ultimately to connect themselves to opportunities not just in the Philippines or Southeast Asia, but to opportunities around the world. So cross-border is very fundamental to what is providing them an opportunity to be able to bring out their services and to be able to connect in a very secure and seamless way globally. Now, the rise of the millennial freelancer. Why are they choosing to freelance? So PayPal actually did a survey. We did a survey earlier this year, and these are some of the findings that came across the survey. So a few things just to call out when we looked at it. Why do freelancers pursue this? What's the value that they see? It definitely leverages upon their existing skill sets. So there's genuine interest, there's genuine skills that they're trying to tap into. It's the opportunity to pursue a passion that they can make a very focused effort and really give themselves an opportunity to build upon. And of course, an opportunity to make money. That's always very important. And then finally, it's the opportunity to connect what they do and take that and connect it to other people around the world who have a demand for their service. Now, when we looked at this, it was definitely something that we saw that resonated across all of these markets. And just to highlight a few of the points, when we looked at this in terms of why this was such a critical area, and I'll share with you some of the stats that we saw. Now, what makes this possible? It's the ability to connect a freelancer and bridge them. The bridge to connect them to services, to companies, to businesses around the world. And what makes that possible? So let's just take a look at some of the key data points here. And 80% of freelancers participate and have used a freelance platform in Southeast Asia. So really significant. Now, if we looked at this data a little bit more, just in the Philippines, for example, 58% of the freelancer community receives their work through such a platform. So really significant and really important because these freelancers are leveraging upon these platforms, they're leveraging upon the social platforms, social influencers, to be able to go and access these tools. Now, when we looked at what's coming in the future, 75% of these users will continue to use these platforms. They will use these platforms to connect to services around the world, but also to look for more opportunities. Now, what makes this possible? And this is really critical. And this is something that PayPal's been very focused on over the last several years in terms of being able to connect and provide value to these freelancers. PayPal is actually the most popular payment method across Southeast Asia among the freelancer community. So that's key. And this is something we've been very committed to in terms of being able to provide them with services that they need the ability to have credibility as a freelancer, the ability to have a safe and secure platform from which they can transact. Now, 76% of the payments are from international clients that use PayPal. So key thing. So when I just highlighted, we talked about security, we talked about the ease of use, we talked about withdrawal, and ultimately speed. So these are all factors in terms of the freelancers community and addressing their needs. Now, when we looked at this in a little bit more detail, we talked about the opportunities and challenges faced by the freelancer community across Southeast Asia. Some of the facts that I think are worth calling out in the survey that we looked at were, the flexibility to be able to choose the work they want to do. A freelancer wants not just to be doing a job or a role that's just a transition role, but really this is an opportunity to pursue a career choice, a lifestyle choice, and to be aligned to their career interests, their interests as an individual and as a business, and to be able to connect those with like-minded platforms and services around the world. Some of the things that we'll also just highlight. Payment issues. One of the key challenges for freelancers is around the challenges of not being paid. Now, this is a key issue. This is often a prevailing attitude towards the freelancer community. And how do they address this, right? So it's an important issue for the community to be able to build and elevate their status as a freelancer. And this is something that we, from a technology perspective, from a payments perspective, saw ourselves being able to enable and empower the freelancer community and to give them that credibility. And that was very key. Now, just to talk about where PayPal sits in this, as I highlighted, we started this journey back in 2014. And we saw the freelancer segment, we identified this segment as a key area, and a way that I've highlighted that we serve as an international bridge for freelancers and businesses around the world. Now, one of the key areas that we saw is being able to provide that credibility, to be able to provide those transactions, and to be able to facilitate cross-border commerce. To be able to facilitate that, and to be able to empower that freelancer and ultimately the gig economy. Now, there are 5 things that we highlighted here. Access to global platforms, access to their funds, quick access to their funds, access to the digital economy, access to a multi-channel platform, and ultimately a safe and secure way. And some of the things that we do from this perspective is being able to provide things such as buyer and seller protection for that freelancer. So they're able to conduct themselves in a secure way, they're able to conduct and seek opportunities globally, and to be able to empower themselves and to have that credibility. Now, just to go a little bit more specific into the Philippines, a couple of points that I just wanted to call out. In the Philippines, freelancers are obviously very significant and an important component of the economy. There's a strong millennial slant in the Philippines. 74% of the freelancer community is aged between 24 and 39. So really significant, strong millennial component. And again, when we talk about why millennials are focused on this as a segment and as a priority, it's autonomy, right? It's not just lifestyle, it's the ability to be empowered. And this is very aligned, again, what you see in terms of what's happening from a digital perspective in the Philippines. Again, consumers are going online, access to digital services, and this is a natural extension to be able to leverage what they're doing online and to be able to be much more connected and to have a career choice that aligns to that. So with these digital natives, we're finding that these millennials have limitless information at their fingertips. And with that, are able to pursue a freelancer career. Now, one of the things that PayPal's done, and we started this last year, was really about having a freelancer community program to be able to partner with stakeholders and influencers in this space, and wanted to highlight some of the new stakeholders and the new partners we'll have on the Freelancer Community Program. We have Jason, Anton, and Manuel, and they'll be part of our continued Freelancer Community Program. They'll be part of what PayPal brings to the extended community through blogs, webinars, and workshops. And as we continue to grow the Freelancer program, it will definitely come with an approach to engage the next generation of freelancers, to empower these freelancers, and we'll use these tools in partnership with Jason and Anton and Manuel to be able to connect and provide those resources and tools to the freelancer community. Now, with that, I wanted to, first of all, thank you for that. I'm going to invite Annalisa, and then we'll shift towards the panel discussion. And Annalisa, thank you.
Should I just grab this one? All right. How's everyone doing? Everyone having lunch? Good lunch? Okay. Thank you so much for your patience, everyone. I'm Annalisa Burgos. I anchor the morning show on ANC, and it's my privilege and honor to be with you today to talk about this very interesting trend in the Philippine economy, the gig economy. As we know, the Philippines has, known for the OFWs, but I just learned that there's a new type of OFW called the online Filipino worker, as opposed to the overseas Filipino worker. And I was talking to a design executive the other day who said that a lot of the designers are using freelance as a way to increase their business and their brand globally. So I really believe in this type of emerging trends, and we got some really good insight from you, Nagesh. Thanks for that. And I wanted to bring up, we have several key stakeholders, players in this economy that you guys can tap as a resource to learn more about this. Let's bring up, first of all, Luarni. Luarni Sim is a professional graphic designer and Lego builder. So he's our representative representing the freelance community. Sure, let's give him a round of applause there. Okay. And then next we have Nicholas Padilla. He's co-founder, CEO, and space captain at Cajon.ph. And he is going to represent the entrepreneur, the business that taps the freelance community to build his business. And then we also have Shahab Shabibi, CEO and co-founder of Machine Ventures, and my kuya. And he will, of course, represent, again, the bridge between freelancers and the employers and bringing the talent together and really leveraging this market. So thank you, our panel, for joining us today and talking about this. I wanted to start first by allowing each of the ones that didn't speak, because we know you, Nagesh.
Yeah, thank you.
To talk about what their role is in this freelance economy and a little bit about, I guess, their message for today.
Hello. So again, I'm Nick Padilla, CEO, co-founder, and space captain of Cajon.ph. We're a relatively new company, and I guess the reason why I'm here is that it was built pretty much on, or with the gig economy, with freelancers. I was a freelancer prior to, even when I had a corporate job, I was still doing side hustles. And it was during that time that I kind of built a network of other freelancers, whether it was people who knew accounting, legal stuff, obviously creatives. So even you might have noticed that I was introduced as a space captain, and that really came about while I was having drinks with some of my friends who were freelancers, and we were kind of figuring out how do we brand, how do you make storage sexy? And storage is not really the product. We realized that space was the product, and we were like, oh, everyone loves space. Obviously, we had a couple of beers by the time, but we were like, yeah, okay, let's name ourselves Space Captains. Then we have Space Commanders and Space Cadets. So it kind of grew from there, and I think a lot of the branding, a lot of the personality that the company has really come from all the perspectives that we get from the freelancers that we deal with and we meet with on a daily basis, actually.
Hello. So I'm Lou Sim. I'm a freelance graphic designer, but recently I've shifted to creating my own Lego models. Just to like not give everyone the wrong impression, I don't work for Lego. I make my own models. But the way I do it is like I make models and I tend to sell my original works. These are original designs, and most of my clientele actually. Most of it's from the Philippines, but I also have a lot of other people inquiring from the Americas, from Europe, and recently I've started branching into China and like the other areas in Asia. So I've been doing this since 2013, and I've been able to, as a freelancer, I've been able to pursue both a passion and make it into a sustainable business for myself. And I think as a freelancer, that's one of the biggest things you could do in terms of going to the whole thing. So thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Shahab Shabibi, co-founder and CEO of Machine Ventures, the company behind MyKuya, which is an on-demand services platform where we are on a mission to create 1 million jobs over the next 5 years. And these jobs are actually all based on the fact that we think majority of the future jobs that will be created around the world, especially here in the Philippines, will be on a freelance basis and will be for self-employed individuals. And we connect businesses and also consumers to be able to hire people in real time and sort of provide all sorts of services that the freelancers and self-employed individuals need, such as handling the payments, ratings and reviews, evaluating their skills, building a profile around their abilities and their skill sets. So we have more than 20,000 downloads for our consumer app. We have more than 80 companies that use our enterprise solutions, and we have more than 3,000 partners who are using our platform to receive opportunities and connect to jobs in real time.
Very good. So thank you so much for introducing all of you. Let's go off of the themes that Nagesh introduced in his presentation. I thought what was interesting, we talk about this all the time, and I'm sure all of you know, is that the Philippine economy has used freelancers for many, many, many years, but the digital economy, the digital structure has really allowed it to scale internationally. And that's the exciting aspect of it for sure. Let's start with you, Nick. How has the digital aspect of it really enabled you to try this new business model and hire people based on this as opposed to a staff?
Well, I think digitally, just the ability to connect with people, whether it's through a messaging app or a payment facility or sharing stuff on the cloud. I was a freelancer where everything had to be changed or had to be shared by a USB or even a CD. And now, I was talking to someone recently. I was like, "Do you have a USB? I have to give you something." They're like, "Just send me a WeTransfer or something like that." So I think technology has really just empowered both the business owner and also the freelancer to be able to connect. That it's almost as if you're sitting with them when you really need to and when you really need to have those deliverables or kind of review certain things. It's amazing now that you can get a copywriter to write something, and while they're writing it, you can kind of see it in real time, give your comments. And I think that is a very powerful tool to kind of create a relationship. For me, I like to work with people who I have a really good relationship with, who I have sort of a chemistry with, because I need them to sort of buy into my vision, or at least believe that I have a vision for the company. And I feel like that's the best way for me to kind of take time to really collaborate with them and really listen